Morning, Andrews. How are we doing? Awesome. A young boy and his father are walking along a path in the forest, and they come across a large branch on the ground. The young boy looks to his father and says, "Dad, do you think I could move that branch?" The father says, "Yes. If you use all of your strength, I think you can." The young boy tries to move the branch. He's unable to do it, looks to his father and says, "Dad, you were wrong. I can't do it." The father says, "Try again. If you use all of your strength, I think you can do it." The young boy tries again as hard as he can to move the branch. He's unable to do it, looks to his father disappointed this time and says, "Dad, you were wrong. I can't do it." And the father says, "Son, I advised you to use all of your strength. You didn't. You didn't ask for my help." Like the young boy, I grew up thinking that I needed to be independent to be successful. I thought the key to success was by being independent and getting things done on my own and never asking for help. I was gradually gaining my independence. As a teenager, I got my driver's license, got to go wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Graduated from high school, went off to college where I lived in the dorms. I joined a fraternity and studied sometimes. The next year, I moved to an apartment off campus, got a part-time job, paid bills, went grocery shopping, cooked, if you include top ramen. But everything in my life was trending in the right direction. Everything was going great. Just over 10 years ago, when I was a 19-year-old sophomore at San Diego State University, I remember I was walking around on campus with a group of friends, and I noticed I had to squint to read a sign. For me, that was abnormal because I had perfect 20/20 vision my whole life. So I did what any other 19-year-old in college would do in that situation. I called my mom. I said, "Hey, Ma, I think I need glasses or contacts. I'm not sure which. Can you set up an optometrist appointment? Let me know what it is. Call me back. Love you. Bye." That's how I talked to my mom. I went and saw the optometrist the day before Thanksgiving in 2008, and he ran the normal tests on me. I'm sure you've all done it. "What do you see better with? 1 or 2? 2 or 3? 3 or 4? And everything was routine until he had me cover my left eye. When I covered my left eye, I couldn't see anything on the eye chart. I couldn't even see the big E. I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to need some thick glasses. But you look around at athletes and celebrities these days, they're wearing those thick glasses and they're making them look cool. So I thought I could get those glasses, go back to school, still be accepted by my friends, not a problem. But the optometrist wasn't as optimistic as I was. He said, "Jeremy, I'd like to run some more tests on you. I need to call your parents in, and we need to discuss what's going on." I go take some more tests, go back in his office. Both my parents are in the room, and he says, "Jeremy, I think you have one of 2 things." He said, "I think you either have something that's called a pituitary adenoma," which to this day I'm not exactly sure what that is. Or he said, "Jeremy, I think you might have a brain tumor." On Thanksgiving Day in 2008, I went and got an MRI done to check and see if I had a brain tumor, and thankfully found out I did not have a brain tumor. But over the next 2 months, my family and I went on what we call a medical mystery tour, where I went and saw multiple different doctors and was misdiagnosed with several different disorders. I had a catheter put in my hand for 5 days. They pumped steroids into me every single day and said that would help. I got a spinal tap done, where they stick a large needle in your back, drain fluids, and run tests on those. And I had a catheter in my jugular for 10 days, cords dangling out of my neck as I would lay in a hospital bed for a couple hours every other day, doing a treatment they thought would help, but unfortunately didn't. And in this 2-month span, my vision drastically deteriorated. And it spread from my right eye to both eyes. And in 2 months went from perfect 20/20 vision to where it is now. I'm now legally blind with no central vision due to a rare genetic disorder I had no idea I had, called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, or LHON. LHON happens to 1 in 50,000 people. Only about 100 people in the US are diagnosed with it each year, and it unfortunately has no treatment and no cure. To put my vision in perspective for you, what does it mean to have no central vision? If you could for me, please, put both of your hands together like this and put them directly in front of your face. And look around the room a little bit with your hands directly in front of your face like that. That's what my sight's like all the time. On the screen is a good depiction of what my sight's like. On the left is perfect 20/20 vision, what I had the first 19 years of my life. And on the right is what my sight's been like the last 10 years now. Because of this, I'm no longer able to read without assistive technology. Imagine going on a date with someone you're trying to impress, and you have to ask them to read you the menu like you're 5 years old. I'm no longer able to drive. I had to hand my car keys over to my parents at 19 years old and forfeit the independence of driving. And I'm no longer able to distinguish faces. Do you know how hard it is to know someone for years, and now every time you see them, you have to swallow your pride and ask who it is because you're unable to recognize them? I was devastated. I was depressed. I thought, why me every single day for months? I didn't know that you could go legally blind in 2 months at 19 years old, and there wasn't some type of a shot, a pill, a surgery, something that could fix it. I just couldn't comprehend it. At this time, I took incompletes from my 5-class schedule at San Diego State, and I went back to my parents' house, where I pretty much resided on the couch in their living room, and I complained and sulked about my situation every single day. And I was sleeping in on that couch every day until noon, 1 in the afternoon, which for a 19-year-old in college is not that abnormal. We like to sleep in. Nothing wrong with that. But I was doing it every single day. My dad came up to me one day. He said, "Jeremy, you should wake up earlier, get your day started sooner, and be more productive. Maybe that will help you be happier." And my response was, "Dad, when I'm sleeping, in my dreams, I see 20/20. I see perfectly fine. When I wake up, I'm legally blind. Where would you rather be, Dad? Where would you rather be?" And that's the tough world I lived in, where I would rather be sleeping in a dream state where I could see than wake up and be hit with this harsh reality of being legally blind again. During this time in San Diego, where I'm from, there's a big news story going on. An F-18 plane crash landed and destroyed a couple houses. The pilot, the only one in the plane, ejected safely, and he survived. But from the wreckage, 4 people died from this accident. It was a man's wife, his mother-in-law, and his only 2 children were the only 4 people to perish from this accident. And for some reason, while I was on that couch in my parents' living room, I had the news on TV. And they held a press conference for this guy. And he came up to the podium, bawling his eyes out, crying. And he said, "If anyone knows how to deal with this type of tragedy, please help me." And when I heard him say that, I thought, whoa, this is a reality check for me. What this guy just went through is unimaginable. He just lost 4 family members. And he's not there complaining about his situation. He's asking for help and how to best move forward. And so I decided from that moment on, I would no longer complain about being legally blind. Did I like what happened to me? Absolutely not. But I was going to do the best I could to go day in and day out, focus more on what I had rather than what I'd lost, and move forward with that. He provided me with a lot of perspective. At this point, school for me was an afterthought. I didn't want to go back to San Diego State. I thought I had a good time, a good year and a half. It was a lot of fun, but I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to deal with being ridiculed or being seen as an outcast for being legally blind. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I thought the easiest thing for me to do and the best thing for me to do would be to drop out. And I thought, you know what? Kanye West is a college dropout. If Kanye could pull it off, so could I. Maybe it's not the best thinking, but my parents definitely did not agree with that logic, but that's what I was thinking at the time. But one of my best friends, Josh, he called me. He said, Jeremy, come back to school and take 2 easy classes. And in my 5-class schedule, I'll take those same 2 classes with you. And that's exactly what he did. I came back to school the following semester. I didn't miss a semester. And I took 2 easy classes. I took Intro to Music and Intro to Film. That was my class schedule. Hey, Intro to Film for a blind guy was actually a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Josh and I showed up that first day of class. I was like, all right, I'm going to find a way to get through this whole college thing. We're going to make this work. We sit in the front row, and the professor says, welcome to Intro to Film. Thank you for signing up for my course. For those of you who want to appreciate the best type of films, you got to understand the best cinema are silent films. Here's an hour and a half of Charlie Chaplin. That was my nightmare. Thankfully, the class was not Intro to Silent Films, and it got a lot better after that. But Josh took those same 2 classes with me in his 5-class schedule. He helped me walk to and from class. He helped me tell the professors that I was legally blind and I needed accommodations. And he helped me study for the exams in the classes, which helped me pass those classes. What Josh did for me was monumental. It was life-changing. I graduated from San Diego State with a degree in business in 2013, and know this would not have been possible had it not been for what Josh did for me. Thank you. In life, we tend to be so inwardly focused. We tend to think so much about ourselves. What can we do to make our own lives better? But do we take enough time to look around at our friends, our fellow classmates, the people around us, and think, I wonder how he's doing. I wonder what she's going through. Is there anything I can do to help them? Because each and every single one of us has the power to impact someone's life the way Josh impacted mine. Each one of us has the power to change someone's life. Think about that. I remember one day walking to class with Josh, and I said, you know what, Josh, I appreciate you doing this for me, but I know, I'm a burden. And his response was, dude, you're not a burden. You're a blessing. And when he said that, I thought, what the heck is he talking about? What could he be getting from this? But that was the first time I thought maybe there's more than just being either independent or dependent. Growing up, I was an athlete. I loved sports. My favorite sport was golf. We can argue about whether or not that's a sport. That's a fair debate. Totally fine. I played 3 years varsity in high school, and I played every Sunday from when I was 12 till I was 17 with my dad. It was our bonding time, our ritual. It's how we became so close. If I beat my dad on a Sunday, I'd give him a hard time the whole next week. If he beat me, I wouldn't stop hearing about it from him. But that's how my dad and I became such close friends. So I was especially devastated after losing my sight to think I could never play the game I loved ever again. My mom, who's incredible, she came up to me one day, she said, Jeremy, there's such thing as the USBGA, the United States Blind Golf Association. And these golfers play in tournaments all over the world. And I said, Mom, that's really cute. But how do blind people play golf? I thought she was kidding. I thought she was cracking a joke to boost my spirits. But she wasn't kidding. There is such thing as blind golf, and there are tournaments all over the world. Now, you can't go drop me off at the local golf course and say, go have fun, Jeremy. I would be lost. But every blind golfer has a guide, someone who helps them out on each and every single shot. And for me, that was an easy choice. My dad. My dad is my guide, yeah. My dad is my guide in every competitive round of blind golf that we play in. As you can see in the photo, what we do is my dad points in the direction we want to hit the shot. I try to envision where he's pointing. I have no idea where he's pointing. I step over the shot, and from behind, he looks at my feet, says, go a little more right, a little more left. Okay, you're good. I hit the shot, and we do that the whole way around the course. Our first tournament together was in California in 2008, and it was an interesting experience. There's a lot of bickering back and forth between my dad and I, because I see it as, with blind golf, believe it or not, I see it as I've got some perks to this. There's some good. I see it as for every good shot I hit, it's all me. I'm the man. For every bad shot I hit, it's my dad's fault. I've got someone to blame it on. I think it's great. He and I don't really see eye to eye on that, but he'll come around eventually. He'll learn one of these days. Our next tournament together was a national championship in San Antonio, Texas in 2009. Now let me explain to you something about blind golf. In blind golf, there are 3 different sight categories. There are B3s, which ranges from worse than 2200 vision, which is legal blindness, to 2600 vision. There are B2s, which is my sight category, which is worse than 2600, but not totally blind. And then you have the B1s who are totally blind. They can't see a thing. So in the first round of the national championship, my dad and I are paired with a B1, someone who's totally blind. First time in my life I was about to golf with someone who's totally blind. His name is John Casolo. John's 80 years old. He's half my size. He's from Connecticut. And he's always got his guide dog, Hallie, with him. I think I do a pretty decent job describing him, but I think a photo does him more justice. That's John Casolo for you. So my dad and I are paired with John Casolo. First time in my life I'm about to golf with someone who's totally blind. Now let me explain to you something about blind golf or golf in general for those you might not know. In golf, you want to shoot the lowest score possible. The lowest number is the best. So anything under 100, that's good. That's good. 101 to 125, it's not really good, but we can get better. 126 to 150, you should probably practice more, take some more lessons. You shoot anything over 150, 151 and above, you should sell your clubs on eBay and pick up a totally different sport. At that point, golf is not really for you. I'm just trying to be honest with you. So in the first round of the national championship, my dad and I go out and we shoot a 97. I was livid. I said, Dad, you lined me up wrong on so many different shots. On the third hole, the tee shot, that was your fault. The fifth hole, the chip shot, again, all you. And the eighth hole, the three putt, I'll never forgive you. Walk away, leave me alone. Don't go too far. We kept bickering back and forth. John Casolo came in, and John shot a 324. He shot a 324. That's astronomically horrible. I don't care if you've never played golf in your entire life, you could go out tomorrow and beat a 324. That's how bad that is. I go and shake his hand after the round. I say, John, it was nice playing with you. He said, Jeremy, I had a great day today. Thank you. Oh, man, when he said that, I thought, what an idiot. Not him, but me. All of a sudden, whoa, I'm not that mean. Come on. Wow. All of a sudden, I think, here's another reality check. Here I am. Yeah, I'm legally blind, but I can still see some. I shoot a 97, and I'm mad at the world arguing with my dad. Here's John Casolo, who's totally blind, can't see a thing. He shoots a 324. Do you know how long a round of golf that was? That was a long day. And he says he just had the time of his life that day. I learned something from John. That not only in golf, but in life, we need to enjoy our experiences more in the present moment. We need to be thankful for the people we're surrounded with at that current time. I need to enjoy just being on the golf course with my dad and share that experience with him. Not get so caught up on the expectations of what I think needs to happen for me to then be happy. John taught me to focus on the good rather than dwell on the negative. It's human nature to want to fix things. If things aren't going well, we want to fix them. If something's broken, we want to make it better. That's human nature. We all need to work on focusing on the good more. Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. So why not focus on the good more? So going into that second round of the national championship, I said to my dad, let's play more like John Casolo and let's not argue as much. And let's see how that works out. We shot an 88. We shot 9 shots better. Tied for second, lost in a playoff, and finished third. The next tournament we played in was the World Blind Golf Championship in England in 2010. Yes, there's such thing as a World Blind Golf Championship. There were 60 competitors from 14 different countries, and my dad and I went out there with one goal, one purpose. We wanted to enjoy ourselves as if we were John Casolo. After the 2-day tournament, we did exactly that. When I made the final putt on the last hole, I'm walking off the course, and a large British guy who's bigger than me, taller than me, grabs me by the shoulder, spins me around, and says, Jeremy, you tied for the win. You're going to a playoff. I said, tied for the... I was so nervous. I'm going to show you a video, but I'm going to set the scene first. I'm in this playoff against a guy from England, and we both end up having short chip shots to the hole. What I do for these short chip shots is I'll walk the amount of paces or yards it is from the ball to the hole. I vividly remember walking the 19 paces to the flag. There was an audience behind the green watching to see who would win the world championship, and I thought, how many times in my life am I going to have this experience where I'm in the world championship with an audience watching to see who will win, and I can win that? I got to soak this up. So when I get to the flag, I smile and I wave to the crowd. I go back to my shot, and what my dad and I do differently for these short chip shots is since I'm unable to see the flag, my dad will stand in between me and the flag on the line we want to chip it on. I line up to his backside. I tell him he's good. He moves out of the way. I hit the shot, and this is what happened. Thank you. Hey, there we go. Thank you very much. My ego is this big now. Thank you. That was by far one of the coolest experiences of my entire life. What's extremely funny is that video is on YouTube and it says Jeremy Poincenot wins World Blind Golf Championship. My dad came up to me one day, he said, Jeremy, you messed up. I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? He said, after you chipped it in, you threw your hat up and you caught it. No one's gonna believe you're blind. I'm like, that's a fair point. So after I watched the video a couple more times, I said, Dad, you're totally right, I messed up, but you saved me. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, after I threw my hat up and I caught it, you went in for a high five. Hey, you're smart, you're smart. Because if you don't learn anything else from my talk this morning, I hope you learn that you never go in for a high five with a blind guy. You gotta at least give me a fair warning, say high five bump, something like that. You gotta let me know. By far one of the coolest experiences of my entire life, and what's especially cool is if Tiger Woods wins a golf tournament, it's congratulations, Tiger, how does it feel? Whereas I didn't win the world championship. My dad and I did together as a team. And we get to share that bond and that experience forever. And I noticed in that moment when we were collecting those trophies that my dad was getting just as much enjoyment out of the experience as I was. And it made me think back to Josh. Maybe this is the blessing. Maybe the gift is something far more powerful than independence. And that's the power of interdependence. It's not just black and white, you're either independent, if you're not, you're therefore dependent. There's something far more powerful with interdependence. Sure, my dad and I can live separate lives from each other and be perfectly fine. But with his eyes and my golf swing on the golf course, we make a formidable team. With interdependence, I want us all to be more comfortable in asking others for help and offering to help those around us. Think about how it makes you feel when someone asks for your help. We feel special, wanted, needed. Why do we rob others from having that feeling when we don't ask them? Because we're afraid of being vulnerable? We're coming off as being too dependent? Independent thinkers think, I don't need anyone's help, I've got this. Whereas interdependent thinkers know that it's not a matter of need, but an opportunity to work alongside others, to work smarter and more efficiently towards a common goal. With interdependence, I think about my dad and myself on the golf course. I think about my mom in finding blind golf for me to be able to pursue my passion again. I think about Josh, who helped me get back into school to be able to continue on and graduate. There's a great African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Since losing my sight, I can honestly say that I'm able to see the power of interdependence more clearly now than ever before. I want us all to be able to see the power of interdependence in our lives, be more comfortable in asking others for help and offering to help those around us. Since winning the world championship, my dad and I have had some phenomenal experiences and opportunities. We've been flown out to Japan and China to raise awareness of blind golf. If you'd have told me I'd be doing that when I first lost my sight, I think you're nuts. My dad and I have gone on to win a total of 3 World Blind Golf Championships and 7 national championships. And that's the best part, is we're able to share those experiences together as a team. And as Marcos mentioned in my introduction, I was recently interviewed and featured on an episode of ABC's 2020. That's kind of ironic. I've got way worse than 2020 sight. When the producer called and said, do you want to be on 2020? I said, do you not see the irony? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And it was a phenomenal experience. If you were to come up to me after my presentation today and say, Jeremy, I've got something that will give you your sight back. Do you want it? I would say no. I'm okay. I'm happier today at 29 years old and legally blind than I was at 19 years old and fully sighted. Because I don't take as many things for granted anymore. I focus more on the good, like this peripheral vision I do have, rather than dwell on the negative, like this central vision I don't have. And I love being a professional, inspirational speaker, traveling the world, sharing my story to provide perspective and help others see the power of interdependence in their lives. Because let me tell you, when we learn that alone we are limited, but together we are limitless, it opens our eyes to see things we may have never seen before. And what I want from all of you is like the young boy in the forest with his father, is to learn to use all of your strength, to be strong enough to ask for help. Thank you very much.